3, 2, 1. Welcome everyone. I'm Bhante Warapanyo, your friendly neighborhood Buddhist monk, and we're back at it again, live here from Bodh Gaya, India. We're having a very special event today in this moment because it is an opportunity to, it's the worst, but we've got to do it. It's the best to practice meditation. And this is the rewarding and intimate opportunity to practice meditation together live in this moment for you, for me, for whoever. It's got to be this moment. What other moment could it be? So I invite you to be here with me now in this proverbial, ethereal, spiritual present moment, whether that's yesterday, tomorrow, today, whatever it is. I invite you to be here. I invite you to be here with me now so that we can step into and walk into this wonderful practice of mindfulness and detachment, this wonderful practice of understanding Zen. And there's always technical issues, but they can always be resolved. Countdown from 10, please. Sa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddham dhammam sangham saranam gacchami. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Coming across a situation like this, I really can't imagine it. Being on the other side, because for my side, I'm living as a Buddhist monk, and I wake up every day, good or bad, heaven or hell, as a monk. And I actually stay in the same room with my teacher at this time, and I put on my monk robes, and those are the clothes that I wear. That's what I have to make use of in this life, is the monk robes and the monk life and being in the monk community. Which means that everything is kind of reminding me to be mindful, to practice doing good deeds, to be concerned with the truth, be concerned with the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, and being concerned with the truth. Let's say the original truth, the original nature, understanding Zen. This can be stressful, kind of exhausting, to always be thinking about and mulling these things over. It sure would be nice, seems like it would sure be nice to go and stay somewhere and have a beer, right? Put up the feet. But there's not a good chance in this kind of life to drink beer or to put the feet up. In this kind of life, there is a good chance for doing more and more good deeds with mindfulness and detachment. Are we still quiet here? Are we still okay? Come on. Bhante, you'd think that by now there wouldn't be these kind of technical difficulties. But so, as I was saying, for the people who are joining in on this live stream and the people who watch these live streams later, I don't know who you are. I don't know what your mindset is or how you do something like this. Much in the same way that probably you wouldn't know how I do, what's going on. What's Bhante doing? What's Bodhgaya doing? I feel a similar way about the people that tune in and join these live streams or watch them later. I don't know what you're doing. But for both of us, the key in this practice, or the key in what we are doing, we is the involved and consenting people in this guidance and guiding relationship of two not someones, if you will, or Bhante and Serpico, or Bhante and whoever is watching this, listening to this, is actually we start by stopping. We start to stop. And this is the interesting principle and way of the path. In the normal way of animalistic thinking or pleasure-based thinking, we start by consuming or experiencing, right? We start drinking tea, we start eating food, we start watching YouTube, we start drinking alcohol, we start having some kind of pleasurable experiences, isn't it? But in this kind of situation, I mean, I hope this will be the most pleasurable experience of my entire life. Fingers crossed, right? Probably not going to happen. Doesn't need to be that way. But the entry point here is that we're actually starting by stopping. I come here, I arrive here to start, to stop. And the stopping is actually the special ability, the ultra instinct, the raising our power level. We're raising our power level to start to stop. You see? And what that means is that we come here and we stop. It means we can settle down, we can sit down, we can stop going outside, we can stop going inside, we can stop being involved in anything. Not even being involved with me or me being involved with you, but not being involved, just being aware. And in that just being aware, it's not going to be a pleasure fest, and it's kind of your problem. So the way that you feel and what you experience during this live stream or during Dhamma talks, etc., that's your problem. That is what you have the opportunity to take responsibility for, or to use as the starting point for stopping contrivance, for stopping conceiving about things, which is what this is really about. Now that doesn't work very well in a social media landscape. The whole idea of social media is to get clicks, to get engagement, to get involvement, to get some kind of buying into, some kind of convinced about, some kind of believing in. But in this practice, the being convinced about is kind of like your fault, your error, your detachment point, right? You're convinced about this, you're convinced about that. It means you're delusional, basically, fundamentally. And that doesn't mean that it's right or wrong or good or bad. I mean, if people are convinced that I'm a nice person, I guess that's great. You know, I don't want people to be convinced I'm a bad person. But not being convinced, not assuming up, not conceiving about things, that it doesn't need to be good or bad. Or if it's good, it's just good. If it's bad, it's just bad. So it's like if you went to a restaurant, you went to a fancy restaurant. Someone said they're going to take me to a fancy restaurant one of these days. And it's like if you went there to that fancy restaurant and the food was very good. Okay, and so you eat it. So the food is just very good and you just eat it. You don't go and try to marry the chef. You don't pursue the chef. You don't try to get the chef's phone number. You don't try to develop an interpersonal relationship with the chef. even if it's positive, even if it's a love bomb, even if it's, wow, I love you so much. Now, in the same way, if the food's very bad, you just eat it or you just don't eat it, and the food is just bad. You don't burn the place down. You don't write a book about that food, that experience. At least that's not what we as Buddhist monks do, or as a Buddhist practitioner does, who is working to stop conceiving about things. This is a very advanced teaching. But what we can do is hear or receive this teaching, this theory, in a theoretical way, and then we can mull that over. We can put that into the gears of our greedy, angry, delusional mind, and hope and put some effort and some zeal into allowing that stopping to take place. Can you feel it? Can you smell what Bhante is cooking or what the Buddha is cooking? To stop conceiving about things. And the interesting point about to stop conceiving about things is that it doesn't mean this or that. To stop conceiving about things isn't about this or that. If you stop conceiving about things, you can sit there and lay there with your depression, with your anxiety, with your non-practical, complicated thinking, and you can try to stop conceiving about things and just endure and just sit with that and be with that, okay? Or you can sit up and practice meditation, or you can get up and go for a walk, right? But you do so in such a way that is generous and corresponds with the precepts. And this is what allows us to untie knots rather than make new knots. To release, relax, refresh, restart. To free rather than to trap, to stuck, to entangle, to bind. We are the ones, actually, we are truly the ones that make ourselves so miserable, or we are the ones that make ourselves happy, peaceful, joyful, etc. Now, this is hard work, but we can do it. By not conceiving about things. Now, I've been thinking a lot recently about mental and physical health. Anybody here ever have a body before? Anybody here ever have eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, mind, right? So there's two main elements here that we tend to deal with. One element is the mind, okay? The mind of thinking, the mind of thoughts, the mind of stories, the mind of knowing or not knowing, the mind of perceptions, the mind of likes and dislikes, the mind of interpretations, the mind of our traumas, our fears, our angers, our hates, our desires, right? All this is in the mind. Even if you open up here and get in there, you can't get it. But that's the mind, right? And then the other side, we're talking about what? We're talking about the material form, or we're talking about the body. The hips, the skin, the fat, the muscle, the blood, the bones, the tendons, the tongue, meat, the phlegm, all of these fluids and solids that make up this body, right? The body becomes sick. The body is subject to sickness. And that can take all kinds of different forms. I mean, we're talking about parasites, we're talking about cancers, we're talking about CNS conditions, right? Central nervous system conditions. You start shaking. Your eyes can rot out of your head. I mean, the body is subject to sickness. You can lose your arm. You can lose your ability to walk. All these kinds of things. It's a very serious situation, actually. And in the same way, the mind, this identity, this ego, this thinking world, this assumed up world, this thinking idea world. Are we having some audio issues here, friends? Is the audio okay or not? Better we do it like this. So this body is natural to be subject to sickness. It gets sick. And when we get sick, okay, when we go through sickness, it's very difficult. It's stressful. It's depressing. It's annoying, right? And it the audio is crackling. So should not rely on or make strong ideas about the body. This body is just like, think of it, like a temporary happening. A temporary phenomena. Like a stone in the street. Like a bubble that arises and passes away almost instantaneously. With awareness, direct attention to the body as if it were something that just happened. A body that is not someone, a body that is not in a story, not in a situation, a body that is not defined by past or future, but just a happening. Whether it is a happening or a crackling, or breathing or seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching. Just aware of the body experience as a phenomena. If you can gear up, if you can generate some energy, you may be able to look or examine the experience of the body and disentangle in some way the experience of the body now from all of those ideas, stories, beliefs, concepts, notions, narratives, systems, complexes. Because the self or the someone, it really relies on a lot. It takes a lot to maintain a someone. Are we still having any crackling or connection issues? patience, waiting, enduring. A non-judgment, and really not believing. What does that mean to you? What is that experience? Not believing anything. Maybe there's an urge, maybe you have a can of Mountain Dew in the fridge. I don't. But maybe there's an urge for you to do something or get something or go somewhere. You have an idea about something. What does it mean for you to no longer believe in that at all? Not to believe in that as being reliable, as being something that's going to give freedom, as something that's going to fix your problem or make your problem worse. To literally not believe the idea about your life anymore. What does that look like? What does that feel like? What would that mean to practice like that, to be like that? And then from that position, to be that way. So it's not that, I dropped these ideas about myself and my life so that now I can go for that idea. But to not be a believer anymore. And you may look through this examination, or like I said at the beginning of the live stream, this is a place for people to come here and start to stop. That's why I don't think I'll be a famous entertainer, a famous live streamer anytime soon, because this is a stopping point. And notice those ideas, those thoughts, those perceptions, those notions that come up in the mind, and don't believe in them. Don't fight with them, don't reject them. Detach from those thoughts, and it's actually a very real thing, and it's not about disassociating. What is the difference between disassociation and detachment? You're not frizzled, you're not frazzled, you're not looking for something. You're not in a hurry, you're not in a rush, you're not trying to solve something. You're not trying to get somewhere. You're not looking at these positions of development. You're not thinking about yourself, about others, but you're also not. not thinking about yourself or others. Thoughts arise and pass away. Experiences come and go. And in disassociation, this is a kind of turmoil or kind of like a dizziness that's there. Get this, that, what am I going to do? Where's my solid ground? Whereas in detachment, spaciousness is a solid ground. You see? It's a resting place. And maybe if you have a materialistic perspective or a capitalistic perspective or, an American cultural perspective, it may be easy to think, well, this is just like mind games or some kind of impractical philosophy. But when we practice mindfulness and detachment, it's anything but that. It's immersing into life itself, experience itself, reality itself. And if the nowness of reality itself, kind of like the jazz of this, this which is not something but is very immersive and alive, it's the only kind of aliveness there is. That there's a fragility here. There's a temporariness here. There's a vulnerability here. And it's only here. And this is the here that is everywhere. Don't believe. Don't be convinced by anything. Don't believe anything. With this mind of crystal clear, natural, uncontrived, which is a very contrived word, right? Uncontrived. With this simple awareness, aware, right? Pervade everywhere, pervade everything, pervade the whole universe. Allow the nowness of this body-mind experience, this just sitting here experience, to go everywhere, to go into everything, to be within and beyond everyone, every aspect of yourself, every aspect of your story. Understanding Zen. Is to be primarily concerned with the truth. That is not about someone. See how deeply you can go within your own mind. Without making a problem. Without falling into a state of belief. Or a state of conflict. But allow that awareness that you may notice easily by breathing. Then you notice, oh, there's an awareness of breathing, naturally awareness of breathing. But that the awareness is not about breathing. The awareness isn't depending on breathing. So that awareness, see if you can apply that awareness to the depth of the heart-mind. Penetrate your mind with breathing awareness. Every moment of meditative practice is worthwhile. to stop the racing mind, to stop attaching to people, places, situations, all these labels and ideas about yourself and others, and all these goals and desires in life. And for that subtle moment of meditation, in the breath, one can experience, one very well may experience the profundity of just breathing. And this applies to anything, this applies to everything. It applies to curse words, it applies to heat, it applies to cold, it applies to wealth, it applies to poverty, it applies to gain and loss, like and dislike, the justness of it all. There's a great wisdom and a great compassion in the justness of anything, everything. Not grasping, just experiencing, moment by moment, breaths by breaths, just. The justness, the just way. The way of justice is to stop at seeing, to stop at hearing, to stop at breathing, to stop at the body being, to dissolve the habituation of conceiving about things. I like this, I don't like this is wrong, this is right. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Who knows what's going to happen? Everything is already happening, so what's going to happen? If everything is already happening, then what's going to happen that could be worrisome? Everything is already happening. And it has been for eons, beyond time, beyond space. Everything is a powerful word when you understand, in a sense, that everything is not something. Everything. doesn't matter if you have some thoughts or you have some, your body feels a certain way. Relax. Relax the whole body and relax the whole mind. And relax the importance that you give to the commentary on what's being experienced. Allow. Allow the remembering of awareness, and through that, offer forgiveness to any pain, any thought, everything, anything. When we try to avoid pain, we make pain our enemy. When we try to pursue pleasure, we make pleasure our master. Don't fear pain and don't be manipulated by this notion of pleasure, but rather abide in awareness, abide in mindfulness with the key of letting go on hand. Every attachment or entanglement point is precisely the detachment point, is precisely the untangling point. Can we not just enjoy doing nothing? Can we not just enjoy being no one? Can we not just enjoy without any idea about ideas, with any thought about thoughts, with any breaths about breaths, just without adding on, without getting into, without involvement, just a moment of just. That awareness, this awareness is not about sleepiness or dullness or emptiness. Anything can arise, can happen, any thought, any feeling, any memory, tightness, pleasantness can come about in this awareness, in this mindfulness, but not to attach, not to believe in, not to identify with, not to involve in, just aware, mindful and detached, aware and not being led around by the trickster, Mara, just experiencing that solidity, that grandeur of wholehearted being without entanglement. The Buddha sat like this under the Bodhi tree before his enlightenment. So it is our good chance. Doesn't matter if it's daytime or nighttime, or we're planning to meditate or planning to go to sleep or whatever. This is the good chance to sit like the Buddha, to breathe like the Buddha. To embrace the everything that is not someone, that is not something, that is not at some place, that is not in some situation. By just being open enough to not try to take anything away and not try to add anything onto, but leaving it at just. Breathing, sitting, laying, body being, leaving it at just. Now the pain that we feel when we practice meditation, that is to be patient with. That is to learn about our reactivity. The same with some idea, some story of our life, or even the pleasantness, maybe a sleepiness. To allow as much as we can without conflict. In the moment that we find conflict or we find stress in our meditation practice, offer kindness, offer forgiveness to that feeling, that sensation, that pain that we're judging, that we're saying is bad or wrong or evil. It just is what it is. It's not wrong, it's not right, it's not to be feared, it's not to be desired. It's not an object for possession or ownership. It just is at that moment of noticing what it is. And so often our prejudgment, our prejudice, our preferences, our desires, our fears lead us to a position of unnecessary arbitration over suchness, or things as they are, or people that are not people, places that are not places, things that are not things. And when we don't rely on the access we do have, the insight we do have about mindfulness and detachment, about not someone, not some place, not some situation, temporariness rather than fixedness, when we don't take refuge in wisdom, we lose our compassion. We lose our compassionate heart that can feel what is called pain and not judge it, not dislike it, not try to control it, not try to avoid it. And in the same way, pleasantness or pleasure can be there or not, and that's just fine. And it can be very, very fine. It can also be very, very painful. And the painfulness is a wonderful teacher, profound teacher, if we don't get into conflict with the pain, if we don't get entangled in the stress of our perceived dislike of that feeling, that sensation. Then the pain is a wonderful teacher and a wonderful inviter for mindfulness and detachment, and for kindfulness, for concentration. How much kindness, how much love, how much gentleness, how much forgiveness, how much freedom can we offer to that pain? True love is locked within pain. Find the key. Be the key maker. can open our eyes if they're closed. Perhaps look around a bit and seeing. Any questions? Or anyone want to share their experience? Verbal teachings. The verbal teachings of Buddhas and Zen masters that have come down from the past are like bits of tile used to knock on a door. It is a matter of expediency that we use them as entrances into truth. For some years now, students have not been getting to the root of the aim of Zen, instead taking the verbal teachings of Buddhas and Zen masters to be the ultimate rule. That is like ignoring 100,000 pure, clear oceans and only focusing attention on a single bubble. So don't put your attention on a single bubble, a single mistake, a single idea, a single experience that you've had. Because in front of your eyes, right here and right now, there are 100,000 pure, clear oceans. So widen out, open out, shine out, brighten out the mind to be able to perceive and experience and connect with these 100,000 pure, clear oceans. Then you will be the best that you can be in whatever situation. But it's important to understand this first part as well. The verbal teachings of Buddhas and Zen masters that have come down from the past are like bits of tile used to knock on a door. So in these live streams, and I'm not a Buddha, I'm not a Zen master, I don't know what I am. I'm a Bhante Warapanyo, American Buddhist monk. And I know that I'm, not that. That's just a word. That's just an idea. But anyway, these teachings are like bits of tile used to knock on a door, the door of the truth. These are bits of tile used to knock on a door, to be concerned with opening that door, to be concerned with recognizing the truth, to be concerned with taking away all of the baggage, all of the drama, all of the carry-on from the past into the future, all of the identity. And these are entrances into truth. But if the door is just standing there by itself, that's not much of an entryway. So don't get stuck on the door, don't get stuck on the knocks, don't get stuck on the objects of mind or the physical sensations in the body. Okay, you feel pain, or okay, you have depression, no problem. But if you take these stories, these perceptions, these feelings, these temporary sensations as being the ultimate, your defining way of living your life, then you're ignoring 100,000 pure, clear oceans. All of this opportunity, all of this spaciousness, all of this changingness that is available to you and accessible to you, even if you're depressed, even if you're anxious. And monks go through these things too. And we can either, be pulled into our smartphones or be pulled into our worries and our conceptualizing about our life. This little point about feeling depression, this little point about it's so hot, or, the body is sick, or this person doesn't like me, or this person isn't supporting me anymore. But fixating on that point is like ignoring 100,000 pure, clear oceans, all of these opportunities that are here and now. And the more that we do good deeds, the more that we go in this way of helping, sharing, caring, protection, cooperation, communication, it will become more and more and more and more clear, these 100,000 pure, clear oceans. Even that situation, that person, that place, that depression, that anxiety, it's just a bubble. See it as a bubble. If you see it as a mountain, it will be a mountain. If you see it as a bubble, it will be a bubble. Listen to me for a moment, or rather listen to Liao An. Act on reality. In learning this path, it is only important to walk on the real ground, to act on the basis of reality. The slightest phoniness, and you fall into the realm of demons. If your vision is perfectly clear and you are not confused by objects 24 hours a day, then you gain power. If your vision, that is the awareness mind, the mindfulness mind, not being confused by objects, is that detachment mind. You use it or you don't use it. You're not stuck, you're not trapped, you're not identified with. But if this awareness is not at the core of your life, this natural mind, this original mind, this ordinary mind, this awareness that doesn't, where is someone in this awareness? There's feelings, there's sensations, the body responds, but where is someone in this? Where is someone in seeing? Where is someone in hearing? And if there is not someone, this whole card trick, this house of cards falls down, disappears, it dissolves. But if your vision does not penetrate freely, how can you do what is beyond measure? How can you go beyond these preferences? How can you go beyond judging yourself all the time and judging others all the time? every point you find impenetrable in the realm of work on the way is just your own mind making obstacles. So to explain it in the simplest terms, stop making obstacles. Sitting here, just sitting here. Why do you need to make up something about it? Stop believing in, stop perpetuating, stop chasing after, stop building on the problem that you've made up in your own mind. Just awareness. Is a good answer. Calm down. Stop making obstacles. Stop making barriers. Stop making judgments. Stop making assumptions about tomorrow. Tomorrow is not coming. The you that is here now will not be the same you in a few moments, in a few days. Let go of the mind. Spontaneously be at peace within yourself. Spontaneously be at peace within yourself. And stop trying to do anything at all. Okay, let's finish by sharing the merit. May all of the merits that we have made until now be dedicated and shared out towards all beings. May all beings receive and rejoice in these merits. May it be, may it be, may it truly be. And I'd also like to finish with a verse of atonement, verse of repentance. You're welcome to chant along with me if you know it. Oh my ancient twisted karma, born of beginningless greed, hate, and delusion, formed of body, speech, and mind. I now fully atone. Oh my twisted karma, born of beginningless greed, hate, and delusion, formed of body, speech, and mind, I now fully atone. All my ancient twisted karma, born of beginningless greed, hate, and delusion, formed of body, speech, and mind, I now fully atone. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, be well, happy, and peaceful. See you on the other side of generosity, precepts, meditation, and wisdom.